Basketball perfection was bestowed upon us by the Utah Jazz to open the 25-26 season. We're talking about it next on POSTCAST. David Locke, along with Ron Boone, as the Utah Jazz beat the LA Clippers 129-108 in a game that was not that close. The Jazz took a 20-point lead with 2:37 left in the first quarter, and the game got to 19 on a few occasions, but never closer. In other words, the Clippers made no run the entire game against the Jazz, which to me, Ron, is the most impressive part about this performance. We'll get into all of those various things, but to me, the most impressive part is that this young team tonight got ahead and either broke the Clippers' spirit enough that they never fought back, or they never relented enough or lost focus to let the Clippers fight back.
Yeah, you're 4 points down in the first quarter.
Yeah,
Now,
Jazz lead at 43-19 at the end of one.
So that's, for the most part, is a very big lead. Even though 10, 20 points is, if you enough time on the clock, is not to the point where a team can't come back on you. But as you mentioned, the impressive thing is the Jazz held on to it and just kept continue to pile on and make the good plays, making the right plays. And as coaches like to say, make the right reads in order to make things happen. And that at the half, they ended up with 22 assists.
Yep.
Is that right? Yeah.
78 points. Jazz assisted on 22 of, I believe, 28 first half field goals. I think the Jazz shot like 28 of 34 in the first half tonight. I mean, they really were as good as you can imagine.
So there you go, right
first
there.
Half, Jazz were 28 of 39 shooting. The 71% shooting in the first half was the best since 1999. Most of our players weren't alive then at home at the Delta Center.
So
I mean, really just an incredible performance.
And if you look at stats and just think about last season and the amount of points the Jazz had in the paint, the Jazz had 32 points in the paint in the first half.
But they didn't come the way you think about points in the paint. They didn't come with drives and things that. I mean, the second play of the night is an alley-oop to Lowry Markkanen that's somewhat symbolic. And I think the next play is a back cut by Lowry for a layup. Like, they were slicing and cutting and off-ball actioning and taking advantage of and making the right reads on the Clippers defense. It was really incredible.
Yeah, a couple of those passes thrown by KeYonte to Lowry. One may have been to Kessler there. I mean, from about 25 feet away from the basket, right on the money. So it's the back cuts. And again, you don't make those plays unless you make the right reads.
I mentioned this to you during one of the timeouts of the broadcast. For those of you who are in arena, you can stop by, get a code, and we'll give you get an in-arena broadcast exclusive. And then we don't go to break during commercials. We just kind of keep talking. One of the things I thought that I saw tonight was, and I saw this a little preseason, is so usually, let's say Walker has the ball high left. And so usually at this point, you now have 5 guys out. So you have 1 guy in the left corner on Walker's side, and you have 3 guys on this side. And usually the guy who's all the way on the baseline is going to come up for a double for the pick.
Yeah.
What the Jazz are doing, I think, is they might be running that action like it's a pick, but both guys are back cutting. Both the picker or even the ball, like sometimes it's 3 guys back cut, and then the release valve comes from the other side for the handoff, which I've not seen before. I got to go rewatch it, but multiple players cutting on the same plane and same line is maybe a little wrinkle that Will Hardy's added to this offense.
I have to watch that. I hadn't seen that, David, but I can see it being effective. Like what does it do when you do something like that? Do you a little mix up on who's taking who, or do you have 1 guy, 2 guys chasing 2 guys to the point? I don't know. I'm gonna have to look at that again.
I mean, if you got 1 guy, like if you're coming to the pick and 1 guy overplays it and they both back cut, somebody's gonna be open.
Somebody has to be open. Yeah.
Interesting to see. Really, really interesting to see that. The Jazz were last in the NBA defensively last year. They were last in the NBA in deflections. They had more steals in the first 3 quarters tonight than any game they had all year last year. The whole team did. What did you see defensively? Both Tim Lacombe and Bryce Sensabaugh said to us the physicality was different.
Well, physicality for sure. But again, David, I'm going back to the game plan on how they just disrupted what the Clippers were trying to do, and how they wanted to get certain players at certain spots on the floor. Now, Harden's going to do his thing in the middle of the floor. He's going to play one-on-one sometimes, or he's going to go right and shoot a three and whatever. But they took away Kawhi Leonard and what the Clippers were trying to get to him early in the ball game. Game plans, I think, is everything. And that's the reason you see coaches chewing players out on the floors when they miss an assignment or they miss a read or something like that. But coaches want to see their game plan work. I mean, they put a lot of time into watching film and watching players, and we can take advantage of this if we do that, that type of thing. And when things materialize like they did, especially in that first quarter, they had to really feel good. I don't know whose game it was. It could have been Sean's or Scott or someone like that, Will, but whatever the case, they put together a great game plan.
All right, we'll get to the individual performances here in a second. Tonight's show is brought to you by Monarch. Use the code LOCKEDONNBA for 50% off your first year with Monarch. Monarch's like having your own personal CFO. You get a full picture of all your investments. You don't want to be leaving money on the table by not knowing where things are. It's a all-in-one personal finance tool that brings the entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or your phone. Monarch is built for people with a busy life. If you're putting off organizing your financing, Monarch is there for you. Monarch does the heavy lifting. You can link all your accounts in minutes, see clear data visuals, get smart categorizations of your spending, and finally, feel in control of your money without ever touching a spreadsheet. Use the code LOCKEDONNBA at monarch.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarch.com. Jazz also tonight, or Jazz Postcast also brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app today. Use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. It's a great time of year to get out to an event, a concert, whatever it is. And let's be real, getting tickets can be a headache, but not with Game Time. The app gives the fans the advantage. It's your ultimate life hack for amazing tickets, stress-free, all available. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. That's LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off at Game Time. Swipe, tap, ticket, and go. And finally, brought to you tonight by FanDuel. Jazz were a 10.5-point underdog tonight. Guess that didn't happen. It's all brought to you by FanDuel right now. With the NFL season here, if you bet $5 and win, you get $300 in bonus bets. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5. If it hits, you unlock $300 in bonus bets. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. Ron Boone, let's start with Walker Kessler tonight. Actually, let's start with KeYonte George tonight, because I think you were most impressed with KeYonte George.
Yeah, KeYonte is very much under control. I mean, he's playing at a certain pace. He's making things happen out there on the floor, running the offense, and in 29 minutes, and I think that's probably going to be 29, 30, 31 minutes of ball game for him all season long. But he is so much under control. I don't know where that coolness came from. I mean, do you, in the summer, you're really working on your game, on how to improve, and in the back of your mind you have flashbacks and playing against certain guys and what they were doing and stuff like that. But what are the coolness and the calmness and
I hope KeYonte doesn't mind us sharing this, but what did he tell us when we sat down with him? He's been working with mental coaches, and he's been working with people on the mind game, and he's working with, whether you call them sports psychologists or regular therapists or whatever. He's been open to all of that this offseason. That level of maturity, I think, is beautifully seeing itself on the golf course. I need it for the golf course. Is beautifully seeing itself out on the playing field.
In the third year in the league,
there's a huge amount. I mean, I've made this comment a million times. Every Locked On every day is tired of it. I just don't believe players improve year 1 to year 2. I believe they improve year 2 to year 3, and I think we saw KeYonte getting that tonight and was absolutely terrific. I will say, we didn't see Isaiah. I thought Kyle did a lot of really, really good things tonight. His shooting wasn't good, but in regards to players year 1 to year 2, that's why I mentioned that. Let's go to Walker. That was a all-around awesome performance. I thought it was really interesting. Will Hardy has been kind of implying this all offseason, that as good as Walker was with block shots, they didn't think his defense was okay. And I thought he got very specific pregame tonight of what he's talking about. The Jazz were 29th in the league last year at allowing shots at the rim. And basically, we're not allowing shots at the rim. Our big guys have to be a presence at the rim to deny shots at the rim. And if we're going to lose on jumpers, then that's how we're going to lose. That's fine. And I thought we saw a really concerted effort from a lot of guys tonight, getting up in verticality and stopping shots at the rim.
Well, Will said that in the coaches meeting there, rebounding turnovers and protecting the rim was something that was a priority for them this year. But what does it do to Kessler the way that first quarter that he had? I mean, he had 2 3-point field goals made, something that he's been working very, very, very hard. What did he end up? 17 points in the first half. What did he end up with?
Kessler had 15 in the first half.
13 in the first quarter is what I was getting to. And I mean, that had to make him feel like that hard work that I've been putting in with Sean and my shooting, my confidence was there. Now he missed a couple of, what did he miss? 1 free throw, I think, 2 free throws. And I'm watching him, making sure he doesn't lock his legs before he releases. And as long as he's bending those knees, he's shooting with rhythm, putting his legs into a shot. The shot is much softer. You're going to see that I don't think he's going to shoot 52% from the free throw line.
So, I mean, you saw something in practice today. I mean, it's clear. You've been talking about this ever since we were practicing today. You clearly saw something about him that looked differently to you.
Well, it's just the way Sean's been working with him with legs in his shot, and now and the follow through is where it needs to be. It just makes his shot get there, and it makes it softer. His free throws. He knocked down 2 free throws, and they hit the rim. It was very soft to the point where it didn't clank and bounce all over the place. It bounced around and went into the basket.
And beautiful left-hand finishes.
And left-handed finish. And Sean pointed this out to me, and we were talking about his finishes around the rim, and his little jump hook. He pushes. He's going to have to learn. You remember how Kareem would shoot a hook shot and how the flick of the wrists?
Yep.
That's what he has to learn how to do. And then Sean pointed out to me that his left hand around the rim with the little jump hook is better than his right. We saw him make a couple of those tonight.
Well, really a fabulous performance. Those two guys were great. We've got a ton of Jazz notes to give out tonight. I thought Walker Clayton was really, really good tonight for his rookie performance. Showed a lot of signs of what we wanted. All right, Ron Boone.
Boy, I just don't think we can point one guy. I mean, this is a lot collectively.
I thought Spee's defense was really good tonight. He got the start with Ace Bailey not available. Ace was not great coming off the flu, but that's fine. Taylor Hendricks comes back out on the floor tonight for the first time. And actually, Ron, do you have a third quarter box? Because that's actually a more impressive number. If you have a third.
I don't have a third. I think I may have thrown the third.
I believe every player was plus 15 or 20.
Well, here's the final, and one player that was.
But it's all because it was late game. You know, the Clippers outscored the Jazz by 9 in the fourth quarter, which didn't matter. I think every player was plus double figures. We'll go across the board. Everybody who played in the first 3 quarters of the game gets a Jazz note to open the night this year. Fabulous performance. We probably should. You know what? Can we have a Will Hardy coaching staff Jazz note as well, Lacey, tonight? Not that they don't deserve it on other nights, but I thought that, obviously they prepared them very well tonight. Got them going. Last note of the night comes from us from the great Tyson Ewing. Most points scored in a season opener in franchise history, ties for the largest margin of victory in the season opener since 2004. If you listen tonight, either in the arena on our specialty feed, please let me know how it was. If you listened on SCG Plus and listen to the radio, interested in what we can do to make that experience better for you, so please let us know. And thank you for tuning in. If you're on the NBA Audio League Pass, if you're on your regular KSL Sports, it's all great. We super appreciate you. This has been Postcast. Thanks so much.
Purple's a good color.
Purple seems to be working well. Same tie I've worn for 17 years on opening night for the Utah Jazz, and for the first time ever, it's the right color. Have a great night. Thanks for tuning in, everybody.